leadership, flashing with brilliance and excellence.
Shine bright everywhere we go. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Music for the people, making music for the people. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Light shine bright everywhere we go.
Leadership, impacting society with peace, love, and hope.
Everywhere we go. Music for the people, making music for the people.
Shining the light for America, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership.
Hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. How are you? Hello to dinner with some church friends of mine and the lady of my life. It's awesome. Now, we're not gonna cover the politics of the day because, quite frankly, to me, sometimes it gets old. And we're not gonna, like I said, we're not gonna cover it every day because, well, quite frankly, I have promised not to get into the political arena. I keep getting thrown back into it by friends and family. And, well, honestly, I think it's time for me to go a different direction today. Are you ready for another White House Willie? This episode is a caricature of a press conference on July 23rd, 1996. In the White House press briefing room. Good afternoon. Tonight, Mrs. Clinton and I will be leaving for New Haven in hopes of being able to have this Middle East Peace Conference, preferably in a more collaborative and proactive mood. After some behind-the-scenes negotiations last week, I'm glad that maybe at this point progress is being done. Supported by new leadership under Benjamin Netanyahu, I am pleased with the outcome there. Also, we have been forced in this administration to make some serious budget cuts. This has required some furloughing and some firing, and we are not done. And we advise the Congress at this point not to be done. But what we do ask for Congress is that this battle of the budget end soon, and in a more proactive mood, if you don't mind. I am open for 11 questions. Yes. One Williams, NPR. Mr. President, my question to you is this. With Dennis Ross as a diplomat, are you hoping that perhaps this conference can be done in a more collaborative mood so that Israel benefits, or are you hoping that the whole party, that all the parties benefit? To be honest with you, this isn't just a U.S. problem. It isn't just an Israeli-Palestinian problem. Middle Eastern peace has always been a world problem. And the sooner that we can get a grasp of that, the better off we can be. Hillary and I are sensitive is what is going on in foreign and international policy. And so we in the White House, we have been working on this as best as we know how. Sunday afternoon, I reached out to Secretary of State Warren Christopher. He is optimistic that the meeting will go well. Now, as touching the situation regarding Middle East peace, we tend to work as hard as we can on this issue. Mr. President, this is Walt Lipscomb from, I'm a commentator from the Washington Times. My question to you is this. Regarding Whitewater, can you comment on what was said in your videotaped testimony before Congress and the court in Little Rock? I will not comment at this time. So we will not comment regarding any criticism towards your friend, former Governor Jim Guy Tucker. I will not comment on that. Nor will you comment about your association with this banker named Branscombe. Will you comment on that? Will I comment on it? I will say this one last time, and I'm hoping that this has given this a rest. Branscombe and I did not know each other on a personal basis. Unlike, say, he knew and I knew Jim McDougal. All right? However, Branscombe knew McDougal and his cronies. If he's going to be accusing me, he better point the finger to the McDougals and their cronies, minus Jim Guy Tucker. Former Governor Tucker was a very close friend of mine, and I don't appreciate the negative attacks made towards him by the press concerning his professional life or his personal life. This has been way over the top. And of course, the Washington press on both sides of the aisle don't hesitate on going on this attack. He is a good personal friend of mine, and I refuse to attack him in that way. Next.
Wanda Jolly from the Catholic Register. Back to the issue of welfare reform. Some of our leaders in the church feel that this is peeling mothers away from their children.
The children will have adequate child care, and we'll have adequate access to the single mothers. I do believe in the sanctity of the family and in the sanctity of marriage. Welfare reform is a bill that is a long time coming, and I will not oppose it. Next question.
Wilma Thayer from the Society page, Mr. President. How is Mrs. Clinton taking the criticism of Jim Guy Tucker and Mr. Branscombe?
Mr. Branscombe knew Hillary a little bit more than me. The Rose Law Firm did some banking with him. This is Hillary's deal, not mine. If you have any questions about that, I suggest you speak to her, because I will not comment.
But will you deny that you a few times met with this banker?
I met with him a total of 2 or 3 times. And it was only a professional business relationship. Okay? What he did with my other cronies in the Whitewater deal is none of my concern and none of my business.
Despite what you may think about this issue with Hillary,
once again, Hillary and her press secretary can feel more inclined to answer this question. I did not have too many dealings with the Rose Law Firm. She was working there while I was Attorney General and while I was Governor. I have nothing to do with this. Yes. George Willard of the Andrew House Show, Mr. President. My question to you is this. You keep saying that you're making some pretty confiscatory budget cuts, and you're calling for Congress to do the same. But yet you've not said anything to commend, criticize, or even condemn Congress regarding the budget battle. I did not bring this budget battle to them. They, the Congressional Budget Office and the Government Accountability Office, brought this to me. I had nothing to do with this whatsoever. Yes, Walter, go ahead. One more question about Whitewater. Now that the McDougalls are convicted, do you stand by them and what they did? Back in 1986, Hillary and I made a pledge to distance ourselves from the McDougalls. It is regrettable. I deeply regret it. But what could I do? They bear the consequences of their actions. And Hillary and I, we have borne the consequences of their actions. We have cleared that hurdle. Last question. Glenn Wakefield of the Forward Times. My question to you, Mr. President, is this. Some of the line item budgets, like federal funding for education and textbooks, why was that cut? It was cut because Congress forced their hand. They did not give the correct response. Like I have said many times this month, we in the administration are doing whatever we can to cut the budget. But now Congress on both sides of the aisle has to do the same thing, regardless. We're doing everything, whatever we can to sustain the budget. There have been a few things I wouldn't compromise, that I've been forced to compromise, because Congress fails to do its part to cut back on pork barrel spending, which I hope that they can begin to work on when they come back in August. This is pitiful. It shouldn't even be, but it is, whether we want it to be or not. And I'm deeply sorry about that. But once again, it isn't the White House that brought on this battle of the budget. It was House Speaker Newt Gingrich. And because of this, I will not apologize for what the administration has had to do to cut funding. But it's time for Congress to cut wasteful spending as well. And that is something that I'll stand my ground on and something I will not back down on. If Congress wants to continue this battle with being an election year, it is something to their peril. I get back to the work for the American people. Thank you.
Hope you enjoy listening to the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership classroom. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, keep up your faith. Please keep up your hope. I say this every day when I need to self-soothe. Jesus saves and I'm okay. So I want you to put this down in your soul right now. Jesus saves and we're all going to be okay. Take care and be proactively informed. And remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jimmy loves you. I really love you. God bless you, and please have a blessed day.